someone invade the goods of declaration.
The PCAT or Post-Clearance Audit Group, the PCAT Zero or Chain Information and Risk Analysis Office, and the PCAT Compliance Assessment Office to the rescue.
The main objective is to verify that the value, origin, and classification of goods is declared correctly and the amount of revenue legally due has been identified and collected.
We will assure that goods liable to specific import or export controls are properly declared, including prohibitions and restrictions, licenses, and etc.
We will ensure specific conditions, approvals will be secure.
And most importantly, to facilitate international trade movements of the compliant traders.
So what do you mean by post-clearance audit?
So, post-clearance audit is a process conducted by customs after the release of goods to verify the accuracy and authenticity of declarations through the examination of relevant books, records, business systems, and commercial data held by persons involved in the import or export of goods.
But if my information is already expired,
Don't worry, because within 3 years from the date of final payment of duties and taxes or customs clearance, the Bureau of Customs through us may conduct an audit examination, verification, inspection, and investigation of importation records to assess the correctness of goods declarations. For importers, maintenance of records shall from the date of final payment of duties and taxes of
The records that you need to maintain are the documentation of the organization and structures of the company, documentation on orders and purchases, documentation on shipping, importation, exportation and transport, documentation on manufacturing, stock, and resale, financial documents and other accounting information, charts, and codes of accounts, general and subsidiary ledgers, general journal, accounting, instructor manuals and system, and program documentation that describe the accounting system used by the importer.
what if I fail to keep a record or maintain it? Failure to keep the record shall result to a punishable or penalties such as suspension or accreditation or cancellation of accreditation as importer or a broker. Second, surcharge of 20% on the detachable value. Third, hold delivery or release of subsequent imported articles to answer court fine and revised assessments. For criminal prosecutions, punishable with imprisonment of not less than 3 years and 1 day but not less than 6 years. 5, waiver of the right to contest the result of the audit.
Is there notification to know if my company is subject to an audit?
Absolutely, ma'am. The conduct of post-clearance audit, the Commissioner shall issue an audit notification letter or ANL to the company identified to be audited. It shall be valid for 30 days and subject to revalidation for another 30 days prior to its expiry, and must be served to the importer either by personal service at the principal place of business, personal service at the registered mail, or through the registered electronic mail address.
How will I know that the audit is complete? Upon completion of the audit, the Bureau of Customs shall give a copy of the final audit results to the Bureau of Internal Revenue and Department of Finance within 30 days from the issuance. Any company who is found to incur deficiencies in the payment of correct duties and taxes shall be penalized. If found guilty of negligence, a fine equivalent to 125% of the revenue loss will be imposed. So, on the other hand, if the offender is changed for committing fraud and found guilty, will be penalized with a fine equivalent to 6 times of revenue loss and or imprisonment not less than 2 years but not more than 8 years. Inadvertent error amounting to simple negligence shall only result to the payment of 25% penalty of the revenue loss.
As a group of post-clearance audit, we will set a post-clearance audit procedures subject to the approval by the Commissioner.
As the PCAT TIRA, we will perform risk profiling analysis activities on importer.
The Commissioner shall issue an audit notification letter for valid for 30 calendar days from the date of issuance, subject to revalidation by the Assistant Commissioner for another 30 days prior to its expiry.
the audit team shall prepare an audit plan in the most expeditious and transparent manner. Also, they shall commence the audit proper not later than 60 calendar days from the service of ANL. Audit proper shall be completed within 120 calendar days per year of audit from the date of importer receives an ANL.
The demand letter signed by the Commissioner shall send to the importer within 5 calendar days from the receipt of demand letter with a demand to pay not later than 15 days from the date of receipt.
What if I am affected to the deficiency assessment that you issued? Is there anything that I will do?
BOC shall furnish to the DOF and BIR copy of the final result within 30 calendar days from the issuance thereof. Plus, the quarterly status report to the DOF and ANL or all ANL issued and audits conducted.
Take testimony as may be relevant and material to inquiry, and obtain information from banks or other financial institutions on commercial documents and records pertaining specifically to payments relevant to import transactions.
Hey there, I am wondering who is eligible to avail EDP.
Hi, if you are an importer, you can take an advantage of the PDP without having to wait for the issuance of ANL. You need to do is to fill the applications provided by the Bureau and disclose any errors by goods and your goods declaration. You also need to pay any deficiencies or inefficiencies, duties, taxes, and penalties if applicable.
Could you please explain what happens if I receive an ANL? Can I still avail PDP?
So, if you're an importer who got an ANL, you can still apply for the PDP. You just need to fill out the application form provided by the Bureau and admit to any mistakes in your goods declaration. Then, you have to pay the deficiency, duties, taxes, and penalties within 90 days of getting an ANL.
So if the importer needs to make changes or add anything to their PDP application, they have 30 days from when they filed to do it. So they also need to pay an extra fees or penalties that come with those changes. But just a heads up, this 30-day period can be extended. So make sure to get everything on time.
But, just a quick reminder that the following things won't be eligible for the PDP. 1. Goods declarations, which are the subject of pending cases with any other customs office. 2. Goods declarations, which are covered by the cases already filed and pending in courts. And last, goods declarations involving fraud.
So, instead of getting penalized for negligence, there are certain penalties that will be imposed or approved by the PDP applications.
So basically, when you apply for a PDP, the PCAP will check to make sure that the filled out application form complete and that you included payment and any other necessary documents. If you don't comply, your application won't be accepted or approved. If PCAP finds any fraud or major mistakes or violations, they will tell the commissioner to do a full audit.
The Bureau will accept the payment regardless of whether the Commissioner approves or denies your disclosure application. Just wait or just wanted to let you know that if you need to request a waiver of penalties, interest, fine, or surcharge, it will not be approved by the Secretary of Finance.
Oh, so just so you know,
If you avail the prior disclosure program or if you have any deficiencies, duties, taxes, or any other charges, there will be a 20% per annum interest counted from the date of final assessment, and if there is something or any fines or penalties, those will be imposed.
If the Commissioner denies importer's request for reconsideration and reinvestigation in remedies of the importers still have the option to appeal the decision on the Court of Tax Appeal within 30 days from the time the importer received the revenue ruling or decisions.
May I kindly ask, what would happen in the case if there is a failure or refusal to provide a full and complete access?
The following penalties are imposable to those who deny that the authorized custom officer full and free access to the records required to be kept and maintained.
So, this means that if someone doesn't pay the right amount of taxes or stuff, they bring into the country and they get audited later on, they could get into trouble. The punishment depends on how much they messed up and if there were any special circumstances.
So when it comes to an audit and keeping records, what's the deal? So basically, PCAG and MISTG are going to work together to create a system that keeps track of all the audit and make sure that they get on time. They also make sure that any recommendation to be approved actually get put into an action. So basically, PCAG is going to keep a safe database or